Okay, so this week I did JSON, and Keith gave a pretty good overview last time, so everything I have is really basic, but if you're just a beginner like me, hopefully this will help you get started. Okay, so JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it uses JavaScript syntax, but is actually language independent, so you can use it with any language, PHP, C++. It's similar to XML, but it's considered an easier alternative, and most of the internet will tell you that's true, even though I have limited experience. And this week, as I started getting familiar with JSON, I really like it because you can go and create objects and arrays and add things to them without actually writing the structure and code for the object or array. So if I want to add a new variable to the object, I don't actually have to go and add it in the object code. I just add it to the object name. It's super easy. I can plug in and store my data without any issues. I love it. One of the big problems I had this week was actually getting JSON to work. It took me a little while to find a good download. So here's a download link to download the JSON files so that you can write Java code with JSON in it. And in order to get that to work, after you download it, you actually have to add it to the build path. So you go right-click on your project, build path, configure build path, libraries, and then add library, and then you add the jar after you download it. Just if anyone needs help with that, because I could have used some help. It took me a long time. And then, of course, you need to make sure you import the files that you use up here. So I just use array and object. So all I did was make a few, play around with making objects and arrays. So just declare object, and then the syntax is object name and put, and that adds variables. So you name your variable there. And from what I understand, JSON will take care of casting that to a type. And then you add your variable information here, the stuff your variable is going to store. And so I make a couple of objects. Here I make a simple array, so you can add items to an array. That's syntax. And then I wanted to have an array of objects, so I just added all those objects that I made up here to an array. And then I add that array to another object so that my Awesome People Anon website object that I made has an array of users. And I also did a file write, and so I could practice writing to a file. So to prove to you that that works, I will show you the file location. It's got something in from my last run, and we'll delete that. Hooray! Then if we run this, we get the output here, and it made a file here. Hooray! So that's what I did this week. Hopefully you find this useful.